Zahra, before we cut to break, you were talking about the balance of appealing to conservative members while also having to bear in mind the sensibilities of the general electorate. How do you feel, if you could elaborate on how you feel Pierre Poilievs' approach can toe that line?
Look, I think it's a great thing that he's been able to get his messaging out in a very real, authentic way. And that's what really people in this, certainly in the conservative movement, that's what people crave. But I think there is, I think his challenge is to come over this narrative that this kind of tone may not win the general election, and I think that is something that may hurt his reaching out to certain parts of the party, because there is that narrative is already out, and there are a lot of people who are saying this is not going to fly with the average Canadian when the general election comes up. So that's something that he has to work on and gain the members' confidence. I think that this is this is how I'm going to have a plan that on how he's going to reach out to average Canadians and also show that he is in fact going to be able to win an election.
And so, Michael, obviously right now he is the only declared candidate. Are we looking at a coronation, or are there going to be other contenders to put their name forward where we have a contested leadership race like we've had the past two rounds?
Look, I mean, even a contested race wouldn't prohibit a virtual coronation in this matter. I think Pierre is incredibly strong, incredibly organized, has great reach across the country in surprising pockets, and a good personal story to match that. But, this is there's a lot of calculations why one would run for the leadership of a political party. Leslyn Lewis last time came out of virtually nowhere. A friend of mine, and many within the party knew her, but she wasn't a high-profile public figure in Canada, and running really gave her that platform. So there's certainly benefit for people to take a rider and run a long shot campaign, and that if they enter it thinking that victory for them is not necessarily being the victor when the ballots are counted, there can be a great deal of benefit. I mean, in terms of Pierre and his ability to reach out to the country, one thing I've been shocked by since he posted his video on Saturday night is just saying people, friends of mine, people in my personal network, well from outside of partisan politics, who are sharing it and seem excited. And, if you look at the issues, he's really been one of the few people talking about, be it inflation, supply chain, just getting the country back to work. I think that's going to resonate well beyond conservative circles. And if we look, the last election, we ran on a deplorable platform. We ran as liberal light, and we got fewer votes and fewer seats than we did under Andrew Scheer. Yeah. So I think a strong contrast instead of an echo of the Liberals, which Pierre would undoubtedly offer, would really be beneficial.
And so, Zahra, do you think it's time for, whether it's Pierre or otherwise, or any other candidate, for Conservatives to maybe take the fight to the Liberals rather than campaigning on their heels, which is a common critique of the party both under Andrew Scheer and Aaron O'Toole?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Pierre, with what he's sort of put forth so far, I think he's the guy that would actually be able to advocate for conservative values on a lot of issues that the Conservatives are concerned about, whether it's inflation, whether it's COVID restrictions, whether it's the economy, carbon tax, etc. And the one thing,
real quick, do you feel that some of that message is resonating with millennials? Because a lot of commentators have been talking about how millennials will be more of a deciding factor, and that Pierre may actually play a pretty active role in courting some of those votes.
I think more so in a general election, I believe so. And I think given some of the studies that has been done in the past 2 years of the pandemic related to the economy and related to a lot of other issues, I think millennials have really felt the bigger impact of the lockdowns in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think a conservative voice would actually, I think they're more open to hear from a conservative now than, let's say, they were 3 years ago.